Welcome to Hananiah Theological College. This is your course, Communicative English Skills. So this is your sixth lesson. If you remember, in our previous 5 lessons, we have covered all the 4 skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now today we're going to see the grammar, which is also another important part of knowledge and skill that you have to develop to be effective in your communicative skills. So the week 6 lesson, as we have already seen, is on grammar. So let's go dive into the lesson outline. So the English grammar lesson outline. In order to achieve your goals in English grammar lesson, you will be able to learn and understand the following topics. Introduction to English grammar. We will cover what grammar is and why we need to study the grammar. We go to part of speech, on the part of a speech, which covers on the different word parts and sentence structure. We go to verb tenses and subject-verb agreement, punctuation and capitalization. And finally, we see common grammar pitfalls, that are common problems and common mistakes that can happen every time in our day-to-day communications. So this will be the outline. Now let's go to the first very section, which is the introduction to English grammar. So now we are talking about grammar. What is grammar? So you might have heard this word 100 times or more before, because this is a very common word in every language. So grammar is generally a set of rules that govern the structure of sentences in a language. When we say language, in any language, it might be in Amharic language or an English language and everything. So grammar provides the framework for organizing words and phrases to convey meaning effectively. So remember, once again, language is about the combination of words, whether it's oral means or in written means. We organize words and phrases. So when we organize words, we come up with phrases and bringing up sentences or sentence structures, make up paragraphs and essays. Remember what we've seen on our writing skills. So we started from words. So once we have understood the concept of grammar and the meaning of grammar, let's go to the relationship to grammar and communication. Our course is Communicative English Skills, but we're still learning grammar. Why? The reason is very simple. Because without a solid grasp of grammar, understanding of grammar, communication can become confusing and unclear. So if you don't communicate correctly and accurately, the listener or the reader of your communicative skill in the channel will get confused. For example, there is a common saying as missing comma or comma kills a person. So for example, if you are heard this word, if you are given a word like this, he told him not to kill the prisoner at the death row. So what does it mean? Look at that. This might be a letter which is written from the police chief to one of the soldiers. The statement says like this: he told him not to kill the prisoner at the death row. So does it mean that the chief officer wanted the person or the prisoner in the death row to be killed or not to be killed? You see, it depends on how we use a comma. If we use a comma after we say he told him not to kill the prisoner, it means do not kill him. But if we say he told him not to kill the prisoner, so where you put the comma might be misleading. So he told him, if you put the comma after he told him, that means not to kill. But if you put after not, it means kill. So it communicates 2 different meanings, but it depends where you put the comma. So that means if you don't understand the correct grammar, if you are putting the punctuation markers or the words or the tenses, if you are messing up in some way, you will be messing up the entire communications and you might communicate something different than which you expect to convey at the original station. So let's go to the first section of those elements under grammar. So when we study grammar, we start from words. We call them parts of speech. That means all words in a language might be given in terms of one of these speeches. We might have words which are called nouns or classified as pronouns or adjectives, adverb, prepositions, conjunction, and interjunctions. So these are the kind of words, the classification of words we study in grammar. And they have different natures. And if you study grammar, you have to understand the different kinds of nouns, the pronouns, and adjectives, and their behaviors, and whether they are given in different contexts. So we have here noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjections. Of course, we have missed verb from this list, but you can get the verb in this list. So the verb is a very important part of speech. So if you are splitting the speech of a person, you get all these words. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 parts of speech. So these 8 parts of speech are very important. So we are not going to see in details because it might take really more than the time we need or we have allowed to use. But what we are going to do in this context, I am going to give you a general highlight about all the 8 parts of speech, and then you will have your book and your resource materials and develop your knowledge and skills on the different parts of speech. So let me just describe on this section. The first in the line we get is noun. So nouns are words you find in any speech, and for example, you can have words like city or king, rose, sun, gold, glasses, and you say policy. These are nouns. Nouns is a name or a word which indicates how we refer a person or a thing. So nouns can be divided into common noun and proper noun. And when we say these kinds of words as proper nouns or common nouns, a common noun is a kind of noun which is common for many things. For example, if you have call like a person or a man or a woman, these are common nouns. But instead of saying a man, if you specifically say Mr. James or Mr. Brown or Mr. Fekadu or Mr. Almaz, whatever you say, now you are referring particularly. That's called the proper noun. So whether it's a noun or proper noun, they are all nouns. Now the second one is pronoun. Pronoun. A pronoun, as you can see from the word, is pronoun. It's instead of nouns. Instead of nouns. So instead of nouns, sometimes you use a pronoun. Like for example, he, she, it. Instead of says Mr. James, you would rather say he. Or if you instead of saying that there are Tutulu, you say she. Or instead of like the baby, you can say it, or the dog, you can say it. So you have every noun for every pronoun. So your job is you have to identify which noun should be used to replace which noun. So you have to know the nouns and the pronouns side by side. So pronouns can be singular pronouns or plural pronouns. So that can be classified as first person pronoun, second person, third person. So they might have different classification, but entirely what pronoun is a word which we use instead of nouns. So when you study nouns, you all definitely learn about pronouns as well. Let's go to adjectives. So adjectives are related with nouns because these were words which we use to modify, to tell more about, or to exaggerate nouns. So if you would like to add exaggeration or clarity on the nouns, you say adjectives. For example, instead of says woman, you may say a beautiful woman. So the word beautiful is adjective to modify the word or the noun woman. So why we say a beautiful woman? Because we would like specifically refer to the kind of woman you would like to refer. So you have tall, for example, another tall. Instead of saying boy, boy is a noun, you would rather say a tall boy. So the word tall will modify the noun boy. Now we have also another word which is called verb in the part of speech. Even it is the most frequent part of speech in any given sentence or given language is verb, because verbs usually refer directly the action of what is spoken, the thoughts usually spoken in terms of verbs. So the nouns are of course very important, but the verbs sometimes represent even the nouns. For example, if you say go, the word go is a verb, but it means, when I say go, it means you go. So the noun you is implied in the verb, so the verb is more powerful. So you can have plenty of examples like run, eat, write, kill, go, is, are, has, had. All these are verbs. Verbs can be classified into two main verbs simply and auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs might have different kinds, but the main verbs are the verbs which directly refer to the action we have under consideration. Verbs are usually modified by adverbs. Adverbs. Just like you can say the word adverb, it adds something to the verb. So for example, we have the word run. If we say run is a verb, how does he run? If you want to modify, to add more clarity on the word run, we say quickly. He ran quickly, or he ran slowly, or he ran carefully, he ran quietly. So these are words which we call them adverbs because they add something to the verb. So when we study verbs, we have to study adverbs altogether, just like we study adjectives when we study nouns. And the other group of words which we get in any given speech is preposition. Prepositions are words such as in, on, at, with, or, for, upon, over, under, and others. And these prepositions, the purpose of the prepositions is to show a relationship between two objectives, or two things, not even always objectives. So for example, you might have two words, a table and a cup. So you might say a table and a cup. I see a table and a cup. You might say that, but in order to make exact relation between the table and the cup, you might say I see the cup seated on the table, or I see the cat under the table. So if you say on or under or in or in between, these are all prepositions. Preposition shows the relation between two words. So you have to also learn about this preposition. You have to collect the list of prepositions and study when to use which kind of preposition is really important. If you use a preposition in the wrong place, it might mess up your sentence, or your speech might not be understandable and clear. And the other one is conjunctions. Conjunctions are another part of speech which you find in any given speech, and which the relationship is to connect. Conjoin means to connect. If you want to connect different words or sentences, you use conjunctions. These are the words. So some of the words are and, but, or. So these are one of the best examples, like and, but, or. So if you take these three words, they represent different kinds of conjunctions. And it connects two concurrent words, which if you want to add one word on the other, you can say and. But if you say but, you contrast. So if you would like to connect two words which are contrasting, you use but. It may be word or sentences, not always words. And the third one is or. Or is you can give alternative. So when you give alternative, or if you want to join two words in terms or in the way that you would like to give alternative, use or. So the remaining are the replica of one of the three. For example, if you say nor is a kind of or, but it's for the negative. So these are the conjunctions, and you have to also get the list of conjunctions and study when you use each conjunctions in which circumstances. So you have to practice even conjoining two words or two sentences. And finally, we get interjections. Interjections are words which you sometimes get in your speech or in somebody's speech. And the purpose of interjections are to exaggerate your thought or your feelings. So, for example, you might have words such as wow, oh, ouch, ah, oops. These are some of the interjections. When we use those words, if you would like to exaggerate, to express your feelings, if you like to show that you are amazed, you are surprised, or you are terrified, so you can use these words. So some way you have to collect the words which we call interjections and study when you use them and see in the context and practice so that you can use in your day-to-day speech. So these are the 8 parts of speech under discussion. Now let's go to another important part in your grammar lesson, which is sentence structure. Now sentence structure is another important thing in your grammar study, and this is very important because, as we have defined, grammar is the rule of the language. So every language has different rules in terms of how you arrange words. So language is all about words, arrangement of words. So you arrange words and to make sentences, you arrange words to make paragraphs or essays. Or when you have a speech, you utter a word or a group of words or phrases, sentences. So whichever organization of words, there should be a rule. That rule is grammar. And one of the rules is centered on sentence structure. That we call it also syntax. So when you study syntax or sentence structure, you have to know, you have to break down a sentence into 2 or more. At least any sentence is classified or compared or composed of 2 major parts. They are called the subject and the predicate. The subject and the predicate. The subject is a sentence which we usually find at the beginning and which contains most of the time nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. And on the predicate side, you find basically the verb. The verb is the most important predicate. And sometimes after the verb, you might get objects or adverbs or some other words which can add meaning to the verb, or sometimes for the subject. So the subject and the predicate are the 2 important parts or the 2 elements in a sentence structure. Whenever you want to make a sentence in English, you have to compose it of subjects and predicates. Let's see some example. We might have the example, the children played piano. The children played piano. Now, if you are asked to break down this sentence into 2 as subject and predicate, you would say, well, the subject is the children and the predicate is played piano. Well, even from the predicate, you can classify the predicate into 2 again. Played is a verb and piano is an object. So you can have a 2 or more kind of classification for the entire sentence. So a sentence structure means how sentence is composed of, how sentence is constructed of. A simple rule, any sentence or simple sentences are constructed out of the subject and predicate. So, for example, you can leave the word piano. You can simply say, the children played. So you have used the word piano because you want more clarity for the sentence. People might have questions, what do they play? They play soccer or anything else? So you probably say, yes, they played piano. So you can add piano or something. Look at that answer, the second example. The children ran quickly. When we say the children run is enough. The children is a subject and run is a predicate. Of course, run is the predicate and the verb. But you can add more words to the predicate or in the predicate part. Run quickly. How do they run? You might say they run quickly or slowly. Or you can say gently. These are all adverbs. So you can add adverbs to modify the verb. So one thing which can never be missed in the predicate is the verb. If you have the verb like played, ran, jumps, are, have, are, all, they are given the most important predicate, the central, the core predicate, and anything can be added to modify your predicate to make it clear about the thought of the person. So for example, another example, we are proud of our culture. So the pronoun we is the subject here, and are proud. Are is the verb. And elephants have big ears. So elephants is a word, a plural word, you can say is a subject, and have is a predicate. So big ears is also part of the predicate, but have is the verb, the core predicate. So this is how we have construct sentences in English. So you have also to expand your exercises on sentence structure. You have to learn a lot. Now let's go to verb tenses. That's another important section in our discussion of grammar. So if you we have already said that one of the most important words in parts of a speech is a verb. So we use a verb in any sentence. There is no sentence without a verb. From the 8 parts of speech, some of the words may not be used frequently. A sentence may not have interjections or conjunctions or adjectives or adverbs, but they can never be a sentence without a verb. They must contain a verb. So the verb is a central part of our grammar. So that's why we have to give plenty of time or sufficient time to study verb tenses. So today we'll be studying verb tenses so that it can help you to improve your communication skills. What are verbs? So let's start by defining verbs or verb tenses. We already defined verbs. Verbs are words which communicate the action or what happened to the subject is a verb. And when we say verb tenses, when we talk about language, when we speak in 3 tenses. That's whether it's now or it's future or it's a past. So a verb tense play a vital role in expressing actions and state of being. Actions and state of being. So when you say actions like run, eat, or shout, or sing, these are actions which we express in our language or expression. And state of being is like, they are not actions, but they are verbs, which we call them are verb being, or such as like is or was. So when you say it is raining, when you say it is raining, now we have raining and is. But sometimes you use the word without ing. We can simply take the word from the we can simply use the being, the verb to be, is and was. So for example, say I was or I am. So if you say I am a person, that means you are simply referring to a being. We'll be exploring the various verb tenses such as present, past, future, as well as perfect and progressive tenses. Mastering verb tenses will enable you to convey precise timing and duration of actions. So this is generally what we mean by the actions, and we'll be going to the other details. So let's start with the first kind of tense, which we call it a present tense. Present tense. So present means now. So when we refer to present tense, it's a kind of tense which we would like to communicate what is going on right now. That's what we call it a present tense. So present tense might have 3 different forms. We have present simple, present continuous, and present perfect. So let's see a difference between the 3 kinds of present tenses. So sometimes you get confused using simple instead of continuous or continuous instead of perfect. This is because you have some confusion understanding the difference between the three kinds of present. In any way, whether you use a simple or continuous or perfect forms, as long as you use a present verb, it is a present tense. But let's see the detail. Why and when we use present simple? We use a present simple tense when we would like to express general truths habits or routines. So if somebody uses present simple, it means he is generally speaking general truths, or he might be expressing the habits of something or the routine activities you do every day. Like for example, she plays the piano every day or every evening. So we use the word plays. That is a verb of present simple. Why we use plays is because we want to express the behavior or the habits or the routines of the girl or the woman. If she keeps doing the same thing every day, you must use a simple present, because a simple present, we have said, that is used for general truths, habits, or routines. When we say general truths, is like the sky is blue. If you want to say sky is blue, you have to use a simple present. You cannot say the sky was blue. So because this is general truth, it's never been changed. So it rains, you can say it rains. When you say it rains, now it's a general truth. So you have used these simple present tenses, and the form, or how we can construct a present simple, is the form is the base form of the verb. The base form of the verb means generally the present simple. So if you go to and check a dictionary, you get the word in the present form. That's what we call it, the base form. For example, the word play. Play is a base form. But when you change it in past, you would say played. Played. Played will be a past, but play is a present. So you can say the word is in the base form, but you can find it the past form of is was. So like play, run, eat, jump, work, study, sleep, all these are words which have the base form, and we call them a simple form or a present form of the verb. So you can simply use this present form, you got a present simple tense. One important note here, when you use a present simple, if you have he, she, or it, or third person singular subject, you always use s or es to the verb. For example, she play, you don't say she play, but you have to say she plays. So the word z right here comes because the subject is she. So every time if you have the subject he or she or it or any of the nouns which can be represented by this pronoun, you have to add s or es to the verb. That's how you construct a simple present, and the purpose of simple present is to express general truths, habits, and routines. Now let's go to present continuous. Present continuous is used for actions happening at the moment of speaking or around the current time. So the difference between simple present and present continuous is, when it's continuous, from the word continuous you can understand there is something going on. That's what it means, continuous. So if you want to express what's going on right now, you have to use continuous form. How? Using the verb, that's the verb to be, plus ing on the verb. So for example, what are we doing right now? We are learning English grammar. Look at that. We are learning. We are learning. We are using the word are and learning because we are talking something which is going on right now. That's continuous, present continuous. So we are still in the present, but we use not we learn English grammar, but we say we are learning. So if you say we learn, it doesn't mean the same thing as we are learning. If you want to say we are learning, it shows the continuity. But if you say we learn English, it looks like it's a fact. It's something that we frequently do. We do it every day. And the other one is they are playing football in the park. When? Right now, it's just going on. That's what it means by present continuous. So the other one is present perfect. So present perfect is another form of present tense which we use for actions that happen at a specified time before now. Actions that have an effect on the present or experiences. So you have to listen it carefully right here, because some people get a hard time understanding the present perfect. Now I think present simple is present continuous is clear and simple, but present perfect, it is a kind of tense which is between the past and the present. That means, for example, there are things which you express in the form of the present or in the form of the past. So if you get something which you can neither say it's past or it's present, you have to use in a present perfect. For example, I have visited Paris several times. So when you say I have visited Paris several times, it means you visited Paris and there is some connection with the present. What's that connection? That means you still remember everything from the past. You still have all the things which you have in your brain. So I have visited Paris several times is one example, but this is not the only example. I can give you another example which shows the first definition, the first meaning, used for action that happened at unspecified time before now. That means, for example, you might say, in this context, for example, let me give you one of the best examples. I have seen, or I have been, I have seen the movie. If you say I have seen the movie, it means you have seen it. When? It's not in the far past, it's not right now, but you have seen it sometime. You have seen it sometime. So that is a present perfect form. Okay, let's go to the other one. When you go to the other one, we have the second form, that is the past tense. The past tense. The past tense. So in the previous discussion, when we see the present tense, we've seen all the three kinds of present tense forms: the simple present, the present continuous, and the past continuous. Now here we are comparing and contrasting the past tense with the present tense. Just like we have a simple present, we have a simple past. So present simple means simply to describe a written habit in verb one form, in the base form of the verb. So every verb in the dictionary, you will find it in the form of a simple present form. Now when we come to the past simple tense is used to describe an action that happened at a specific point in the past period. For example, she walked to the store. So when you say she walked to the store, she walked sometimes in the past. It may be yesterday or last week or a couple of weeks ago, whenever it be is a point, but it is in a specific point in the past. You can specify that specific point in the form of adjective or not. That's your choice. But generally you have to express a past simple to express a past action which happened at a specific point in the past. So you can say she walked to the store yesterday. She walked to the store last week or last Thursday, last Monday. You can say that. So that is a point, the specific point. What's the difference between simple present? A simple present is a word which when you express, instead of you say she walked, you say she walks to the store. If you say she walks to the store, you are telling us that she has the habit of walking to the store every day. That it means. But if you use she walked sometime in the past. So that's the difference. It depends on your intention. If you like your intention that you like to express the habit or what she do every day, you say simple present. If you want to express what happened, it's most of the time in the form of report. If you want to report what happened in the past, you use a simple past. So the second one is past continuous. Past continuous is also related with present continuous. Remember, in the present continuous, we have said we use the as action happening at the moment of speaking or around the current time. So the exact moment you speak, you say is present continuous. So for example, we said they are playing football in the park. Now let's go to the past continuous. In the past continuous, The past continuous tense is used to describe an action that was going, it says, that was going in the progress at the specific point in the past. So the difference between present continuous and past continuous is the present continuous you express exactly at the moment of speaking. But the past continuous, you have some kind of progress, not moment, but it's not in the present, in a past time, a specific point in the past. Look at this example. She was walking to the store when it started to rain. Now, we are not saying she is walking. If you say she is walking, it means right now, at this moment, she is walking. But we are not talking about that. We are talking about what happened sometimes in the past, and you have some progress, some continuity. So the time is in the past when it started to rain, plus what she did do? She was walking. So this is past continuous as contrasted with present continuous. But they are both continuous and the form is similar. In the present continuous, we say verb to be plus the present participle. Present participle means verb ing. Now when we want to use past continuous, you still have the verb to be plus a past participle. That's a past present participle, is a continuous form. So look at that. They are playing. So are is a verb to be, a verb present form. That's a verb to be plus ing, playing. When you come here, she was walking. So walking is the same thing. Playing and walking or dancing, they're all verb 1 plus ing. So even if it's a past, you say walking. But it says she was. So the difference is the verb. Here the verb is changed into was. But if it is present, we would say she is walking. When it is present, she is walking. When it's past, you say she was walking. So this is the difference between the two. And let's come to the third, a past perfect. Just like past present perfect, a past perfect tense is used to describe an action that happened before another action in the past. So that means a past of the past. If you like to express a past action in the past, you use a past perfect. For example, she had already walked to the store when it started to rain. So there are two things happened in the past. One of the action is it started to rain. This is one action. The other action is she walked to the store. Now there are two actions. One action is she walked to the store. The other action is it started to rain. Now the question is, which one was before the other? Now, she walked to the store is the past action before it started rain. So you express she had already, the word already indicated this is a very past action than it started rain. So this is a past perfect action. Or I can give you another example. I had watched, or I had written, or I had completed my homework. I had completed my homework before my brother came. So look at, there are two actions. My brother came is one action. I had completed my homework is another action. Which actions happened before which? Now, first, my brother, I had completed my homework before my brother arrived. So I had completed my action is a past action than my brother arrived. So that's why we use the word before. So this is an example of a past tense. When we go to a present perfect for actions that happened at a specific time before now. So instead of we say that I had completed my homework, you can say I have completed my homework. If you say I have completed my homework, it means you have completed maybe like 1 hour ago or 3 hours ago. But if you say I had completed, it's already in the past, before some past thing happened. So present perfect is when you express an action which is in between the present and the past. It's already a past. When you say, I have completed my homework, it's a past action. But it's not a past like a past simple and a specific point in time. But when you say, I have completed my homework, you have the homework at your hand. It means you are ready to show what happened, so how you did. So this is a present perfect. A present perfect, you can express a present time, but not in the form of present simple or present continuous, but an action which you happened, but has some relation, a direct connection with what is going on right now. So that is a present perfect. And if you want to express past perfect, you have to use, or you have to get the context where there are two past actions. If you want to express the very past action, the previous past action, you use a past perfect. And the later past action, you use a past simple. So these are the present and the past tense. Now what's remaining is a future tense. Let's go to the future tense. Now the future tense is the third form of the verb or the tense. Similarly, just like we have a simple present and simple past, we have simple future or future simple. What is that? A future simple tense is used to describe an action that will happen at a specific point in the future. It says that will happen at a specific point in the future. For example, I will go to the store tomorrow. So you are telling us what would you do tomorrow. That's a kind of plan. It's not happened. It's not past. It's not what is going on right now. It's not your habit, but it's just your plan. So if you like to inform us, to inform somebody, to communicate what would happen at a specific point in the future, simply use a future simple. I will go to the store tomorrow. If you simply say, I will go to the store, still is the same thing. Whether you add it tomorrow or not, it doesn't change whether it's the future or not, because the verb will plus verb 1. Will plus verb 1 is the form. When you come to future continuous, it's not a simple future, it's a kind of future, but the future continuous tense is used to describe an action that will be going at a specific point in the future. Yes, it's also a plan, but it's not only a plan. You will show that it's continuous. You'll show at the progress. It will stay a specific time, or it will stay a little longer in the future. For example, I will be studying at this time tomorrow. What is the difference between I will study tomorrow and I will be studying at this time tomorrow? So the difference is clear. When you say I will study tomorrow, it means you will study tomorrow, but it doesn't show us that you will be studying continuously. But if you say I will be studying at this time tomorrow, it means, like for example, it's 6 p.m. right now, you will be studying at this time tomorrow. So you'll be sitting, somebody can imagine that you will be sitting and you will be studying for a little longer, continuously, maybe for 1 hour or 2 hours, 3 hours, but you will be continually doing something. That's a future continuous. So the verb form is, you will is the subject plus you'll we, will or shall, that's auxiliary verb, plus be plus ing. That's ing is usually add on verb 1. So that's the form. And the future perfect. The future perfect is a tense used to describe an action that will be completed before a specific point in the future. That will be completed. So the very important concept is completed. Completed. It's not completed already. If it is something is completed, that is past or past perfect. But what it says is that will be completed before a specific point in the future. For example, I will have finished my work by the time you arrive. I will have finished. That means you didn't finish. The job even is not started, but he is planning what time he is going to finish his work, tomorrow or next week. So he says, I will have finished my work by the time you arrive. So if you have a schedule to meet your brother or sister like tomorrow lunchtime, and if you would like to complete your actions before lunchtime, you say, I will have finished my work by the time you have arrived. Just don't worry, come on time and we'll be doing something different. So because I can complete my work tomorrow before lunchtime. That's how we express a future perfect tense. So the future perfect tense can be constructed, as you can see from the structure, the subject plus will or shall plus have plus verb 3. That's ing. Verb 3. For the original verb is finish, and verb 1 is finish, verb 2 is finished, and verb 3 is finished. So the verb 3. So because we have another section which we see the details of this section, we are not going to go in the details right now. So what we can do is you will be given exercises which will help you to study the difference between present, past, and future, and you have to give sufficient time to complete the activities which you will be given for this course, so that we hope we will be improving your grammar skills, so that you will have a good communication skills. So grammar is an important element, important component to develop your communicative English skills. So just give it time to study and to master. Whatever you feel is missing, for example, if you are not sure about the forms of simple future or simple past or future perfect, find out books or go to and check internet on what kind of form they have and try to memorize them and use them in a more frequent way, so that you will have materialized or internalized the contents. So this will bring us the end of our section, and you will be given activities on present, past, and future tenses. You have to complete that sections, and if you have any question, you can contact us as usual. This will bring us the end of lesson 6. Thank you for listening.